Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. It's your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Email me directly for pricing, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. Today, we're discussing a spectacular complication from a fully integrated independent manufacturer. This is the Parmigiani Fleurier Toric Perpetual Calendar Retrograde, 40.5 millimeters in rose gold. The timepiece is a perpetual calendar automatically wound by a company that, through its various subsidiaries, makes every part of the watch, the hands, the dial, the case, the movement, even the small parts like balance springs and escapements. Parmigiani Fleurier does it all. So at 40.5 millimeters in rose gold, the watch is also thin at 11.5 millimeters thick, 48 millimeters from lug tip to lug tip, and 20 millimeters between the lugs. On my wrist, which is 16 centimeters in circumference, this is a good size for a modern men's dress complication. It's not petite, but it's not oversized. One probably wouldn't even call it a full-size watch. There is some discretion here with the sloped case flank able to slide underneath the cuff, and the restrained proportions and minimal thickness of the watch, the gracefully tapered lugs that appear to arc around the wrist rather than stick straight out. And again, my wrist at 16 centimeters circumference, whereas this one, well, game on if your wrist is as small as 14 centimeters circumference. Taking a look at the strap, you can see that this strap is of outstanding quality. Large rectangular scale alligator leather, matte finish, black monotone stitch, a sheer edge showing the layers of leather cut straight, and some bolstering in the center to give it some volume. Then we have a lovely matching buckle. You can see that the coining of the bezel has been reciprocated in the design of the buckle itself, and the design of the lugs likewise echoed in the flanks of the pin buckle frame. Jumping back to the lugs themselves, you can see, and we'll get close here, this is old school high horology case manufacture. You could see these lugs and the case were built as separate parts. The lugs were then inserted into slots in the case and welded on, with hand finishing used to create the sharp break between them and remove all evidence of the weld. The case is all of high polish. Note the use of a true sapphire cabochon, not a piece of spinel like you'll find in a modern Cartier. This is real sapphire right here. You can also see that the crown is slightly countersunk, so it doesn't take up quite as much real estate on the flank, and the pusher adjusters are all flush with the case flank, so they minimally interrupt the case band. This is something that you rarely see. It takes a lot of manufacturing prowess to achieve this flush fit, but Parmigiani does it. You can also see that the case itself comes to a little bit of a blunted point in profile, as it's conical on both sides, and it sort of flares out to a blunted point, giving it a rather sharp and striking profile. And you can see everything about this case is nuanced. You have these coinings alternating with little domed segments, and so you have 3 gadrons split by 2 coined sections, and the idea here is that the watch is supposed to evoke a compressed Greek column. If you were to take a column and compress it, you would wind up approximately with this bezel. Now on the dial side, lots to love. We have hands that are a hybrid, rarely seen and unique to Parmigiani. We have a lunette-style indicator for the retrograde date. We have a day and a month in aperture display. We have a moon phase with an adjustment interval of 122 years. And then you can see underneath the date indication, there is a leap year indicator, and then we have a lovely concentrically brushed metallic track that features both minutes and seconds, but also acts as a base for the retrograde date scale. Now the watch is a perpetual calendar, which means you don't have to make any changes provided you wear it and keep it wound until the year 2100. Leap years, irregular length months, not a problem. The dial base is black and features an unusual and handsome guilloche pattern. Flip it all over, and we have a base caliber that's a twin mainspring barrel, PF000471, twin barrels, 45 to 50 hours of power reserve. You can see it is Vaucher based. Vaucher is the movement arm of Parmigiani Fleurier, and you can see that little star on the base plate to remind you of such. It beats away at 28,800 vibrations per hour, and it pivots on 32 joules. You can see that it has a twin mainspring barrels, and it does have that 45 to 50 hour power reserve. It uses a guilloche cut on the winding mass, which, as you can see, is solid gold, and then it features a hacking or stop seconds function, so you have the ability to set this watch to intervals as large as 122 years or as short as a second. The timepiece, of course, is finished with high horology execution, meaning engraving on the rotor along with satination and anglage on its edge, black polished screws, Côte de Genève across the bridges, engine turning on the base plate, and then you can see that there is a mirrored anglage that do my best to show, but has been developed on the edge of every bridge. Perhaps I'm not doing the best job. There you go. You can see it at the edge of the balance cock, but it is nicely finished. The anglage is proper, high-end, and hand-finished. A good-looking watch. Remember, every part of this is made by the Parmigiani family of companies. A rare piece, you will not see another. But this company, Parmigiani, is supported by a pharmaceutical empire, so happily, you've got a watch that is extremely rare and independent boutique brand, but also backed by a company that has the money and the wherewithal to provide service and parts forever. 30 meters water resistant, but please don't test that theory. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.